Hi, my name is Xana and I'm 12 years old.
Hi, my name is Sydney and I'm 13 years old.
So today we're going to be introducing our new YouTube channel. Basically we're going to be posting, I did that one for a blooper. I had to.
To the voiceless, people get killed for other stupid choices. Standing up for the families that took a loss is something that we find important. Rap game strong, chest up. Little homie, keep your head up. You can be whatever you want. Get rid of the fake and it will lead up. All my life I strive for greatness. I manifested my time with patience. People try to copy us, but respect is earned. It's not an obligation. I love the fam and they love me back, and that's why I always have the backs. I give a voice to those people who were never given a chance by them slimy cats. When you come here, you ain't a number to me. I really take time to read what I see. Don't forget to lock your doors, cause there's danger all up in these streets. Y'all really put life into the air that I breathe. I really am thankful for all of my peeps. Your loyalty means a lot to me, so this is a special thank you from me.
Blessings for the days when I was down and losing faith. They made me patient. All I can say is thank you. I really wouldn't be the same if I ain't gone through all the pain. Look what it made me. All I can say is thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, here we are. What's going on? We got Todd and Sydney with us.
Hey guys, thanks for
Todd
having
and
us.
Sydney. Absolutely. So I want to appreciate you guys for coming up, and I do want to appreciate Todd for reaching out to me because I know that he heard the story of Xana Kernodles, that angel girl, which a lot of you guys know. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate you for being here, Candy Rapper. I see you guys in the chat. But I do want to appreciate you, Todd, for reaching out to me and telling me that a lot of the information that was told to us was lies and really just putting that out there. And I want to let you address that to everybody now and, get that out the way so we can dive into the story, what the story of Xana.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to do so because, I'll tell you what I took away from that video last week. I took away a few things. I took away that we were dealing with somebody who was emotionally disturbed to some degree. But that aside, another thing I really took away is that you, my man, have a humongous heart of solid gold. And the Rev Gang is something special that I want to be a part of. So I was really happy that I saw that video. But at the same time, there was things in that video that were upsetting to me because it misportrayed the young lady and her father, who I know and love. And so, yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity to clear that up.
Yeah, it made me sick to my stomach just hearing the things that, and I feel like her intentions weren't, and it's horrible to say, it's like her intentions weren't bad, but she was inserting herself and still saying things that weren't true. And it's not, and I feel like this is a message to everybody that you don't have to make up things to be liked, right? It's crazy. I mean, can you tell people, like, because you said some things in there that she said, I guess you could research and look up, but what things did she know that was surprising to you?
Well, a lot. So, yeah, I guess just let me start from the beginning. It was kind of like, I don't know, I'm going to date myself now because I actually saw the Scooby-Doo episodes when they were first coming out. Didn't have to watch repeats. But you remember in every single episode, at least once, sometimes more than once, Shaggy would say something out of this world and Scooby would be like, woo, woo. And that's what happened when I was watching this video over and over and over again. The first thing that was like, what is she talking about? She said you could put a tube in the Spokane River in downtown Spokane and ride that tube all the way to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And And I was like, right when she said that, I'm like, this lady doesn't know much about the area because there's so much wrong with that. There's like 4 dams in the way. There's a reason that Post Falls, which sits in between the two, is called Post Falls. There's a humongous waterfall. You're not tubing. And then Coeur d'Alene Lake is the main feeder of the Spokane River. So the water goes the opposite direction. So here's what would happen. If you put a tube in downtown Spokane, the fire department would come take your lifeless body off of a spill gate from a dam. You're not going to Coeur d'Alene. So when she said that, I was like, what? And so, give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she thought it went the wrong way. No, there's 4 dams between Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls. It's just doesn't happen. But there's a picture on TikTok of Xana tubing. And so I swear, everything that she said in that story, she took from some social media post, some news outlet story, something she found that she just embellished the details. So then I heard that. I sent the video to my daughter. She watched it. My wife and I were watching it together, and we started realizing that some of the pictures just didn't match. In fact, Sydney, I first noticed the videos. I said, "Hey, Xana's not in those videos. That's not Xana. That's a wrong color leotard. Those coaches over there in the corner are not from our club. That's not Xana." And then Sydney was like, "Well, and the young girl's not Xana either. That's Kaylee."
I went to school with Kaylee also for like a year. So I had known of Kaylee. I wasn't like friends with her or anything, but I didn't like know her, but I knew enough of like what she looked like as a kid and all that to know that was Kaylee.
And the awards podium were at some competitions that we would actually go to every year. But again, Xana was nowhere to be seen on any of those. So the pictures that were actually Xana, you could find in up to you'd have to go to at least 2 of 4 sources. You could go for the high school pictures of her graduating, that kind of stuff. You could go to Jasmine, her sister's Instagram, and find them there. You could go to Xana's personal Instagram, which you could still find today, and find them there. And then the other photos of the gym and other things that she did, Sydney took those photos, or they were stuff that we took, like the one where you said, "Hey, her doing the split jump on top of the hay bales, was that on the farm?" And then, of course, Angel Girl said, yeah, that was on the farm. And zoom in, see her red. No, Sydney took that picture. It was in Post Falls. They were visiting some friends. In fact, there's another picture of her on a trampoline where she's wearing the same outfit. It was the same day Sydney took those pictures. So yeah.
So Sydney took those pictures.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's so when you heard the story, you were able like debunk it right away, especially when hearing that farm part.
Right.
Like this was on because she started talking about, her grandparents had a farm, or there's something about the farm, and I was like, oh, that's on the farm. So yeah, you talked about that, and that's good. I'm glad you brought that up, and everybody knows now. And I obviously took that video down.
Right.
But let's talk about the good things.
Well, let me because there were 2 things she said that really misrepresented. One was she talked about Xana and a reaction she had at Silverwood Theme Park, about a leotard being late. First off, she said she was 8 years old. Well, Xana didn't even set foot in our gym until I think she was 10.
Okay.
And then she said that Xana had heard that her leotard for the upcoming season might be late, and she started crying and said, "Gma, gymnastics is life." Man, anybody who knows Xana would say Xana rolled with everything. She was the most easygoing. She would have never gotten frustrated about something like that. She would have just rolled with it. Wouldn't have been a big deal. So to portray Xana as some little 8-year-old crybaby, it just wasn't Xana. Xana was fun. She was always fun. It just wasn't her. And then the other thing that she said that really frustrated me was that Jeff wasn't present at her competitions because he was working. Jeff was a very hard-working father who, was a single dad, and so we helped out. Xana would come to our house not just because of that, but because she was also best friends with Sydney. But on the weekends, Jeff was with his kids at those competitions. Maybe a couple of times he couldn't make it to Xana's gymnastics competition, so she'd go with us because he was with Jasmine at soccer or something along those lines. But to say that he was working on the weekends, no way. He was with his kids. He was very involved. He was not behind the scenes And so anyway, when she said that, I was like, no, that's just not true. So anyway.
Yeah, that's to say that about. Yeah, that was crazy. I don't know why somebody would say that, and especially with not having the knowledge about it. That just shows you right there that the intentions, I guess, were bad. Then, like when you say that, it's like saying somebody didn't show up, especially a parent. That just shines a bad light on that parent, right?
Well, and she was, saying that she brought Xana to those things, and I never met this woman before. That that she was doing her hair. No, that again, another Instagram photo of one of our former coaches, Amy Walston, who was very much involved in Xana's life, doing her hair. She was, so yeah, everything traced back to some Instagram post or something. But yeah, she did her research. I know some people were like, "Hey, T-REV, how did you get duped?" Well, there were things that she said that I was like, I made me believe that she was at the personal family and friends funeral. I had since kind of looked at maybe she saw it here. One of them was when she talked about Xana skipping levels. She didn't have the details right, but I didn't remember that being discussed or being anywhere else than at the family and friends personal funeral. But in hindsight, I think maybe we did mention it when we were interviewed on one of the news broadcasts when we were trying to raise money for her scholarship endowment. So I think she did hear that in a news post. And the other thing, she mentioned the what was it? It was the Vandal Solution team. I thought that had only been talked about at the funeral, but it was actually in the obituary that went out in the local newspaper. So she no doubt just read it there. So I was actually a little bit relieved. I don't think she was at the personal funeral any longer. So that was a little bit relieving, but she definitely did her homework. One of the things, about coming to you with Xana's scores, who would have thought that somebody who wasn't connected to the family would have her scores from 9-10 years ago. But I guess in hindsight, no, you can go to meetscoresonline.com. All your listeners could do it right now and put in her name and pull up those same scores. And then there's other, that wasn't all of her scores. Not every competition used that particular server, but yeah, if you know what you're doing, you can find scores. So she absolutely
knew how to do that.
Yeah, went out of her way to dupe you, and was very convincing in doing so.
I mean, Todd, I'll tell you the first thing I did. She said, because people scam and put GoFundMe's together, and they claim it's for this and they claim it's for that. But the first thing I did was look you up, found your gym, and I was immediately like, yeah, this is legit, because there's a clip of you out there. So I'm like, okay, this is legit. Nobody's funding to it. Nobody's putting any funds to it. Oh, and this is somebody that Xana called Gma, and she knows all this information. She's in Discord. She's dropping picture after picture after picture after picture after picture. Then we do the interview, and then she goes like AWOL, like hi, she's off the board, and I can't find her. She has everybody in Discord's heart, man. Everybody's heart. Everybody's, oh my God, sad in the room that she's dropping all these pictures in. And, she was calling, like I said, a close pal of mine. His name's Papa Sal. He's in here right now. Love you, Papa Sal. I know you're in here. So Papa Sal, felt bad for her about the whole brain tumor thing and got her number and was exchanging. He was like, we got to do something to help her, put a fund. I was like, I'm on board to help her, right? I'm down. We'll get together and we'll put a fund for her too. Next thing you know, I don't know what it was, Todd, but I was looking through my request on Twitter, and I was digging my way down because I got a lot of requests on Twitter. But I got to yours, and when I opened it and I looked at it, my heart like skipped a beat. I'm like, I drew a blank. I was like, oh my God, I didn't know what to say. I was like, I'm gonna call you. I'm about to go on live, but I'm gonna call you. I said, I'm gonna call you tomorrow. So that's what I did. I ended up calling you just to confirm, and man, you confirmed something that I, slipped by me. And I'm glad that you did that, though, because some people would just let it be and not say nothing. But you came out and spoke, and that shows your integrity and what you stand by. Well, and not only that, you told me that you found it. You said you seen my name on the GoFundMe, and you looked me up.
Yeah, the people from your group, the Rev gang that were donating were crediting you for finding out about that. So that's how I first heard about T-REV. She never mentioned you at all. She was just sending us messages saying, "Hey, we're fundraising for you. What can we do with this money?" And then, but the people who are actually donating were mentioning you. And then that's when I went and found that video. But I want to tell you, man, I want to apologize to you for what she did, because obviously your heart was absolutely 110% in the right place, and she should not have done to you what she did to you. But I think your integrity shone through, because a lot of people, when they found out about this, would have just silently behind the scenes deleted that video and not said a word and just moved on. No. I watched your show after you found out, and you want the truth out there. You're all about the truth out there. So I really already had respect after watching a couple of shows, but mad respect after how you handled that situation.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I just couldn't, what did I put the video private just in case anybody ever needed a copy of it. And I was like, you know what? I am so mad right now. I was going to put out a little message and just tell people, but something just popped in my head, and I was like, I need to go live and tell everybody this. There was a lot of people that were duped by this woman, and I don't want anybody else to be duped by her. So I just said, you know what? I made a thumbnail and went live and talked about it. I had to get it off my chest because it bothered me so much that somebody would sit there, and I'm crying. I'm over here in tears. I get into the story with Xana. We're talking about how her mom struggled with addiction and just going through different things growing up. And I dealt with that with my mom. So it just, the whole story, like I'm in this story talking to her, and she's like, fake crying. What is going on? Like, I don't know. That's just something that's mental to me.
Well, I wonder if she just didn't interject herself so much into the story. It really affected when we went home for the funeral. We live in Florida now, for anyone who hadn't heard about that yet. But when we went home for the funeral, that whole community, Eastern Washington, Northern Idaho are basically one community. They should be in their own state. They have no business being connected to Seattle or Boise. They are their own community. And so people who live in Spokane and live in Coeur d'Alene were really affected by what happened in Moscow. And when we went there, it was, you could tell people's hearts were heavy. I think this lady just interjected herself so much that the lines between reality and fantasy got blurred. And I don't necessarily think she had bad intentions. But yeah, we want the truth out there, and especially the truth about Xana. She was such an amazing person. I tell you, so she had mentioned the Xana skipping levels, and she didn't have the details right, but she must have heard that in so Xana did skip levels. In fact, so I got to tell you, Xana was so charismatic. When she first walked into our gym, she had never done gymnastics in a constructive setting before.
Yes,
but
sir.
I think probably the 2008 Olympics, she must have watched it and just fallen in love with it, because by the time she first set foot into our gym, she already had mad skills. She was a self-taught gymnast. She taught herself a bunch of stuff. And so all we had to do was clean her up, and she was within a few weeks ready to be invited to team. And that first year, she competed level 3, and she completely dominated. She won a state title at level 3. I think one of the results that Angel Girl sent you was from that first year of level 3 at the March Madness meet, where she took first place all around. And that March Madness meet is a large meet in Spokane, Washington, one of the larger ones. And she just dominated everything that we took her to. And so after that first season, we were like, she doesn't need to go to level 4. She doesn't need to go to level 5. She needs to go to level 6. But the thing is that USA Gymnastics, for good reason, has put in place protocols to make that difficult. You can't just do it. You can't just go, okay, I competed level 3 this year, now I'm going to compete level 6 this year, and then if that doesn't work out, I'll go. No, they have what they call mobility scores that you have to achieve in order to qualify for the next level. So obviously her level 3, she dominated that. So she was good to go to level 4. But to get her to level 6, we had to hire a judge to come into our gym and sanction our home competition. And Xana had to compete both levels 4, so that she could get a score to be qualified to go to level 5. And then that same day had to complete level 5. So she had to know vault, bars, beam, and floor in 2 different levels. And
she was not good at remembering.
memory was not her strength. So she did. We worked really hard to get her ready for the level 4, and she dominated that. But then when she was doing the level 5, you could tell that the memory, and so Judge Barb, who is still in the Coeur d'Alene area and still a highly rated judge there and a great person, she recognized what we were doing. And she recognized Xana's talent. She had judged her a few times that previous season. And so she allowed us to do what we wouldn't normally be allowed to do. She let us talk her through the routines. And allowing her to do that, she just dominated level 5 and then went on to compete level 6. And you could see by those scores that she was showing you, she placed really well in every. In fact, I think it was even 4th place at state at level 6 after skipping 2 levels. So she was super, super, super talented gymnast. But what was really amazing about her is that I never, in the 30 years I've been coaching gymnastics, never before or never since have coached a more closely connected team, and that was because of Xana. Usually when somebody is as talented as Xana, you'll have other kids that will be jealous, and you'll get some rivalries in the gym that you can't. Sometimes you got to have parent meetings. You got to pull parents in and say, hey, these kids are button heads. This is going on there, but Xana was so charismatic. She was so funny. She was that everybody just loved her, and she truly loved everybody. So she pulled that team together. It was that anyway, and it didn't matter what level you were on. You were a flip factory gymnast. You were on Xana's team. You were part of the mix, and that was by far those years were the closest knit team that I ever coached, and that was because of her.
Wow, so I mean, that's impressive. That's impressive. Self-taught. So she came in and already had skills down. And I mean, what would you say she knew the most, like when she came in? Could she backflip already and do all that?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so I mean, she didn't. Not too many people have a set of uneven bars in their house. So, but the thing is, yeah, she came in and floor was easy. Balance beam, I know that that was another thing. G-Ma said she struggled with balance beam. No, she didn't. She dominated balance beam. She was really good. She's absolutely. And so those were things that you could work on without having equipment at your house. So she was really good at balance beam. She was really good at floor exercise already. We just had to clean them up a little bit. And then because she understood her body so well, teaching her the bars and the other stuff, it just came easy for her.
Now, what would you say for you and you too, Sydney? What was the most, or like, what's the best or most fun memory you have of Xana? That's just a question I have for both of you. Like, if the first thing that comes to mind, a memory with Xana, what was the best to you, like with you, that you had with her?
I don't know. A funny one, I don't know if it would be my favorite, but we were just talking about it the other day. We came across a picture of like a team bonding thing that we had. Mm-hmm. For some reason, I couldn't go, and they decided to prank call me because I was stuck at home. And she's the one that called me. I don't know why, because she was the one I was closest to. But she talked like a man and was like, "Hey, you look really cute right now." And I instantly, from the sound of her voice, I knew it was her. And I was like, "Hi, Xana, thanks," or something. And just, we all died laughing about it. But just why they had my best friend call me to prank call me didn't work out. But
they picked the wrong cat. No, that's and yeah, Xana. I think some of my fondest memories of Xana was when I had to get after her at the gym. Because here's the only reason I ever had to do. The only reason I ever had to get on Xana. It wasn't because she wasn't working hard. It was because she was having too much fun, if that makes any sense.
Right.
She would be doing something that had everybody in stitches. And so I'd have to say, and I called her Kernodle. That was my nickname for her. In fact, I had a hard time at the funeral because I tried to, mention all the family members during the eulogy.
Right.
I kept trying to call them Kernodle instead of Kernodle because I never said Kernodle. She was Kernodle. So I'd have to say, hey, Kernodle, hey, I'm glad you're having a good time, but we need to get focused. And those are always fun. And then I remember my wife telling me not too long ago that one of her funniest memories of Xana was, and Sydney and her were talking about it, is that one time we were at a competition and we'd all warmed up and we were getting ready to do floor, and Xana was next up to go. And Xana looks over at Sydney and says, Sydney, we haven't warmed up yet. Sydney's like, yes, you did, go. And she went out there and so she was a little bit absent-minded but she went out there and dominated that floor exercise. I mean, because that's just so yeah, yeah, we could go on for days talking about the funny memories of her. And so.
Bless this coach. Thank you for sharing. Chat, do you guys have any or any questions? I'll be looking for some.
There was one I do want to answer though.
Yeah, go ahead. You can answer anyone you want.
It was in the live too. Somebody asking if we thought it could be one of our parents, this GMA. And I just want to say that up until like all of your donations came in, we were planning on all of our donations not going to our families at the gym. We were sending it all to the college. And he actually reached out to Jasmine, and Jasmine said she wanted us to then keep some of it for a kid at the gym. So that's when we decided to do it. So none of our team parents would have ever known that we were keeping any of the funds in the gym until after this happened. So there's no way it came from anyone trying to get the money.
And I could shed some light on that too. I actually did a lot of research on this lady, and actually found there was a Facebook page for a long time coach in Spokane. His name was Mike Armstrong. He was a longtime owner. Sorry, I don't mean to put my hand in Cindy's face. But he was a longtime owner of Northwest Gymnastics in Spokane Valley, Washington, and he had started struggling with cancer, and so this Facebook was a page put together to help him raise money for that. And she had commented back in there, same picture, same name, same sign-in information as the what she did on your YouTube, and had commented about thanking him for all the love and support that he had given their daughter over the years. So no, this lady lives in Spokane. Her name's Patty. She lives in Spokane. She, for much of her life, lived in Gig Harbor over by Seattle, but she's now in Spokane, and her granddaughters went to Northwest Gymnastics in Spokane Valley, Washington. And yeah, so our gym probably competed with Northwest maybe 2 or 3 times throughout the 12 competitions or so we do every year. And so, yeah, she's probably been in the same room as Xana, but she's never met Xana. But no, she wasn't one of our parents looking for something. And I know one of your other live participants last week had asked if I had, and I thank you for defending me, but if I had waited to tell you about this until the GoFundMe shot up. And,
oh man, that made me mad. I don't know why I got mad, but I was like mad about it. I'm like,
well, there's so many people out there that are trying to work angles. And so I get the question, but here's what happened. Wednesday is when you guys did the live. Wednesday, July 5th, Xana's birthday, Xanapalooza. That's when you guys did the live. Thursday is when this lady started sending us messages, and I was like, what is this all about? And so it wasn't until Thursday night when I started getting notifications from the GoFundMe, and it had been dormant for a while. I hadn't even looked at it in a long time because we got a little bit initially, and then it kind of cooled off. Well, all of a sudden, that day, Wednesday night, Thursday, and into Friday, that thing raised like more money than we'd raised the entire time in 24 hours. But anyway, Thursday is when she started sending us the messages. And then Thursday, when I went that evening and looked at the GoFundMe, I saw your name all over it. And I found the video Thursday night. And that's when I first watched it, sent it to Sydney. My wife and I watched it together. And then Friday morning, very early in the morning when I got up for work, is when I sent you that message saying, hey, thank you so much for doing this, but something's not right. So yeah, no, there was nothing shady on our part, but we certainly appreciate the Rev gang because, yeah, Journey, I got to tell you.
Yeah, I wanted you. That's another thing I was because I know people want to ask about that. But tell them about Journey.
Well, Journey is a super talented athlete, much like Xana was, and super hardworking, super fun-loving. When you walk into the gym and Journey's there, there's always a smile from ear to ear, and she, no matter what your day's been like previous, she puts you in a good mood. She's just amazing. But her mom is a single mom with several kids and just has been struggling to keep her in gymnastics. She's been cleaning our gym in exchange for tuition. And when we earned that money, and Jeff and Jasmine were both behind us changing our efforts, because originally when we started that fundraiser, we were going to piggyback on what Xana's cousin Sheldon had put together for the family through the college. And we sent, I think all told, we sent close to $3,000 to the University of Idaho. Well, that fundraiser has made tens of thousands. So thank you to all the community for supporting that. There will be people who go to college in Xana's memory and get the help that they need. Jasmine had wanted us, because she saw the award that we gave out, the Xana Kernodles Inspirational Award. She saw that and loved it and wanted us to scholarship somebody through fundraising efforts. So anyway, so when we got that blessing from Jasmine and Jeff, and that money came in, my wife and I were talking. We were like, Journey. There was just no Journey. Journey's the one. She wasn't going to be able to compete this year because her family wasn't going to be able to afford it. Now with the funds that you guys sent us, we can pay for the whole thing. And so I called Journey's mom and told her about the T-REV gang and what you guys were doing. And she broke down in joyful tears and just was like, thank you so much. I've been struggling so hard. This is a answer to prayers. So yeah, she is so appreciative, and Journey is so deserving. And and I know another one of your listeners last week was like, we want to follow this girl throughout her. And I promise you, we are going to, at all of her competitions, we're going to send you scores, results, and maybe some videos of her competing. And that won't start until January, but count on it. You will be following Journey's journey this season, thanks to your guys' efforts.
Well, man, that's awesome. Somebody asked, and I can't wait to see that, by the way. And I'm glad that, somebody is appreciative, because, her mom, you said her mom was like real upset, Journey's mom.
Not upset.
Joyful upset.
Yeah. But she broke down when I called her on the phone. She was sobbing. She was so happy that her daughter was going to be able to compete, because it's
expensive.
Gymnastics is not the cheapest sport out there, but it's an amazing sport, and Journey is so good at it. And thanks to you guys, she's going to be able to do what she should be doing. And I see that question, and yeah, that's our goal now, is to continue generating that scholarship fund to keep Journey going, because she's very young. She's going to have years of this in front of her. And, and if, the fundraising continues to grow, maybe we can provide others. So
that's such a good thing. And I'm glad it's all in Xana's memory. And this is the hard part. Like, when did you first find out about what happened? Did you guys ever, when did both of you find out, the family?
I had heard about it before they had released the names. And I was just kind of wondering, because I went to school in the Coeur d'Alene area. So, personally, I know probably hundreds of kids that go to the U of I. So just knowing there were 4 kids that died, I was like, who's it going to be? What are they going to announce? And I was in the office at work. He wasn't in yet. And I just remember they released the names and just seeing her name. I broke down. My mom was in the room with me. I'm going to cry again. Anyways, and I just made that phone call to him, and then we cried on the phone for probably half an hour together.
Yeah, that was a hard. So yeah, just like Sydney said, Sunday, you know, I still have apps on my phone following. I grew up in Spokane, Washington, and that's the city that provides all the news for that region. And so I still have, KHQ app on my phone and the Creme 2 app on my phone. And so, yeah, we had known that there had been murders in Moscow, but I mean, Xana's name never even came up in the thought process, because who could kill Xana? I mean, she was just such an amazing kid, there's, so yeah, I had knew that 4 people had died at the University of Idaho, but when Sydney called me and said, "Dad, did you hear who it was?" I'm like, "No," but the fact that she was calling me and asking me that made me a little. And then she said Xana, and I was like, "Yeah, it was like being." I remember distinctly feeling like I'd been kicked in the stomach, except the nausea that being kicked in the stomach created went on for months.
I can only imagine. And it's somebody that's been at your house, and Sydney's, you hung out with her and you trained her and you've been around her, Todd, and the whole family. I'm sure your whole family has. And like, what are your guys' thoughts on the case? Like, where it's at right now? I mean, because I know you guys are probably keeping an eye on it, a close eye on it, because I mean, it's sad, man. And I really hope I think they're going to get the justice they deserve. And yeah. I think they got the right person. Some people don't. But what are you guys' thoughts on where it's at this point?
Well, I think the people who don't think they have the right person, I don't know what probable cause affidavit they read, but it's not the same one I read. Or they're just contentious people who are always trying to cause people problems, who just always want to be part of controversy. Because here's the bottom line to me. As soon as the prosecutor comes in and shows that knife sheath with his DNA on the button, which obviously he tried to clean that knife sheath, but you unclasp it and then underneath, he missed it. He didn't get that part. He didn't get it clean. And that's laying on the bed between the first 2 victims. Okay, right then and there, when that prosecutor presents that information, my reasonable doubt is gone. And now the defense is going to have to convince me of another reason why it's there. And come on. I mean, somebody from a town 10 miles away at a different university, somebody sought him out to frame him. Give me a break. I do believe, after reading that probable cause affidavit and then hearing other things that were found via the search warrants and different things that have leaked out, and I don't think we even have a tip of the iceberg of the information that they have on him. But yeah, his phone records, it's obvious that he took frequent trips to Moscow to stake that whole thing out. And then, why is your phone off? I mean, who gets up at that time of the morning to turn their phone back on? I mean, he committed the murders. He thought he could outsmart everybody, and no. I truly believe with all my heart they got the right person, and I just wish they'd let me be on the firing squad, but I don't think they will, because I'll miss the chest and I'll go for the stomach. And never mind, I better stop.
What about you, Sydney? Like, what are your thoughts?
I mean, kind of the same as what he said. I think we'll know a lot more when the trial actually starts, whenever that happens. But I don't see anything that I've seen that could lead me to believe it's anyone else besides him.
Well,
I guess one thing I did enjoy was learning about how the Pennsylvania police made his entire family crap themselves when they busted all those windows and kicked those doors in the middle of the night. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people got mad at me. I mean, there's a lot of people that got mad at me when I said, I think it's him. You know, I think he's behind that Papa Rogers profile. You know, personally, I really do think he's behind that profile because I seen somebody who said that the profile was automatically, or it just disappeared in front of their eyes. It vanished like right after he got arrested. It was weird.
Yeah, you think the FBI might have had something to do with that vanishing? Because, yeah. So yeah, no doubt about it. I you know, the stuff that he put out there on yeah, I think it was him too. I think he was trying to inject himself into the case as psychopaths often do. So anyway, anybody, yeah. So no, I think they've gotten their man, and yeah, it was really hard those weeks that, you know, they weren't giving out any information at all, and you know, yeah, those were some of the hardest weeks ever, and I'm glad they made an arrest, and I think he'll be convicted, and like you said last week, I think he's too proud to plead out. He's not smart enough to plead out. He thinks he's smarter, but
yeah, that's what I think too. Now, how do you guys know how? And I haven't asked this to you yet, but do you know how Jasmine's been feeling? Is she doing okay? If she ever needs anything from or help or anything, just I'm glad to, and I know a lot of people in the community would be glad to help her in any way, and our condolences go to her and Jeff.
Right. Well, and you know, Jasmine has a really good friend base who's really been keeping her occupied. She's heavily involved in a lot of different activities and very social. And so, yeah, I think she's doing as best as one could expect. You know, it's still tough. You know, I mean, you know, that was her sister. It's still tough, but yeah, I mean, she's living her life. She's not letting this stop her. She didn't let her, like, for some people, it would have turned them into a hermit, you know?
Right.
But that didn't happen to her. She is still living her life. She, you know, so, you know, graduated from college recently, has moved over to Seattle where she's going to be internshiping, and just, you know, she saw pictures of her last week in the best baseball stadium in the country. Go Mariners.
You know, there's somebody I got to talk to you about, because, and you guys are familiar with some of this, but there's somebody that's in the community that's going around that's saying that her daughter went to school with, or goes to school with Jasmine, and this, that, and the third, and she's spreading like these weird narratives around, like, oh yeah, they're saying that there was 8 people involved, and this, that, and the third, and I forget, I think her name's like Kim WSU. I don't know if you guys ever heard of her, but I have to send you some stuff about it, because they've been saying some stuff about, oh, Jasmine, or I'm sorry, Xana was pregnant and this, that. They're putting out these things that Xana, or like, they're saying that this is true, but I want to put a stop to the bullshit. And I'm just going to say it the way it is, because if it's not true, don't say it.
Right. No.
The details that they sent me to my email, Todd, made me throw up almost. Like, that's how sickening it was.
No.
I mean,
The
if Xana
details.
was pregnant, that would have been said in all the reports.
Right.
Like,
The autopsy report, all that. I mean, come on.
because then there would have been 5 victims, not 4.
I'm just so sick of people that are inserting themselves, saying that they're close to this person and that person and that person, and they're using these content creators to come up and spread some story that's not even true. Well, my daughter goes to school with she's in WSU right now with Jasmine. You know, she's saying this, and she wrote all that, and I'll have to send you. I got the email still, and I'm gonna send it to you, because it makes me sick to my stomach, and I want to put a stop to the BS. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of people and people spreading around these lies and narratives that aren't true. You know, to know the details that this woman put in this email, you would have to be law enforcement or the coroner or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, people come out of the woodworks with this nonsense. You know, Washington State University, WSU, where Jasmine went to school, is the second largest university in the state of Washington. There's tens of thousands of kids that go to that school. So there's a good chance that just because your child went to WSU a high probability that Jasmine never met your child. I mean, it's just, it's not a small campus. And then, and yeah, it's been frustrating to listen to some of this nonsense. I mean, that 30-something-year-old lady and her boyfriend who were arrested over by Seattle in a death, and somehow got connected back to Moscow, and so suddenly they must be at the party drug house. That it's just it's total BS. I mean, the videos on her social media, on everybody's social media, from all of her friends, it's all young college kids. And you know what? When we were young and we were in college, guess what we did? We partied a little bit. We drank a little bit too much. But as far as a drug house and all that, come on, show me the evidence of that. It's just not there. You're grasping at straws because you want to try to say something that nobody else is talking about. So it's just crap. And, Xana never really talked a lot about her mother. Do you want to talk about this? Or I know Sydney has a hard time talking about it but the few times when Xana was at our house and she spoke about her mom, she was really frustrated because her mom's lifestyle made it impossible for them to be a family. Mm-hmm. I think, and some people say, oh, her mom was into drugs and all that, so that means Xana was selling drugs. And no, Xana hadn't even seen her mom in 4 years from the knowledge that I've gathered through all of this. And was not, Xana's mom had never set foot on that campus, had never come to see either one of her daughters at college. Her drug issues had nothing to do with Xana, nothing. And I know that Xana, wanted her mom in her life, mm-hmm. but because of her lifestyle, that wasn't possible, and she resented her mom's lifestyle and wanted nothing to. So yeah, not only is there absolutely a zero shred of evidence that Xana was in any way, shape, or form involved in any sort of drugs at all. I mean, yeah, did marijuana ever come into a college house? Come on, of course it did. But beyond that, no, there's nothing there, and it's people who want to create conversation so that they can feel like there's something, and it's a bunch of crap.
Now, what is your take on her mom going on? Because I've seen it, News Nation. What was your take on that?
That was really frustrating to me because there's like only two. I think there's only two prosecutors in the entire state of Idaho I'm sorry, not prosecutors, public defenders that are equipped to deal with a murder case like this. And Ann Taylor was one of them. And so for mom to come out and selfishly say, well, she was my lawyer. No, she wasn't.
Oh,
she was a part of the public defender's office that was assigned to your multiple drug cases. So was her name on the letterhead? Yes. But Ann Taylor wasn't handling low-level drug cases. She was handling murder cases and other high crime cases. So yeah, no, I was so pissed off that News Nation even gave her the time of day to go that route, to take, to throw. Yeah, it was really frustrating.
I think it's just because it was her mom.
Right.
Right. I mean, they just wanted to get her on because it was the mom.
Well, and they wanted to make
know the situation at all either.
Right.
And they wanted to make news where there was no news.
Mm-hmm.
Another
thing that came out early on was like, oh, her mom, and that's what people tried to connect Xana with drugs, is because her mom got arrested for some stuff. And I seen somebody sent me paperwork or something that said, and then somebody made up a number like she was caught with this much fentanyl and this, that, and the third. I'm like, why are people saying, like, where are they getting these numbers from? And then connecting it to Xana, like I find it just outrageous that it was connected to Xana. And it's, like my mom, I don't talk to my mom. I don't talk to my mom, and she's out there. She does drugs, and I refuse to talk to her while she's doing that. So, I understand that side of things, but just for people to connect because her mom did something like that and connected with her, it's not fair, because you know what I mean?
And I think we should add a word into that. It should be estranged mom, because she did not have a relationship. She saw her mom a handful of times throughout the majority of her life. In fact, at the funeral, I sat with her, what was her mom's? Kara's brother at the funeral while he cried his eyes out because his sister couldn't even bother to show up at his niece's funeral. So she was not part of the life. She was too busy letting her selfish pursuits get in the way. And, you know, I mean, it's addiction. And I hope she gets the help that she needs so that she can get past that and become part of her family's life again. But yeah, they did not have a regular relationship. Xana was not involved with drugs because her mom was involved with drugs, because they didn't have any connection.
Right.
Again, Kara had never set foot on that campus. You know, there was nothing there for, you know, so.
That's where speculating minds go, especially
Right.
early on. I mean, I seen it very early on that somebody sent it to me. It was like, look, her mom was arrested for that. Okay. But I mean, that's just, you know, what people, when we're looking at stuff, we'll look at stuff like that, but it's like, her mom's not her though. At the same time, we're talking about these adult. I mean, we're talking about adults in college that are going there because they want to be something in life. You know, it's not like they're just lived on the streets or we're doing this, that, and the third. And what do you know exactly? Do you know exactly what Xana was going to school for and what she wanted to be?
Well, I know because of the posthumous. I always say that word wrong, but she was studying marketing and accounting, from what I understand. And yeah, to your point, she was at school taking a full course of studies, working at the Mad Greek restaurant, and then also part of the Vandal Solution team. So yeah, she was too busy to be doing what these idiots are saying she was involved in. Yeah, of course, on the weekends, she was cutting loose with her friends. That's what college kids do. But yeah, as far as that other stuff, yeah, come on. It's just, yeah, she didn't have time for it. Let alone, you know, so anyway.
So I can only imagine what you guys felt traveling back to go like to the funeral. You said you guys flew out there?
Yeah, we flew up there. I had been in contact ever since we found out with Jeff, and Jeff knew, you know, from our time together at the gym. He used to come up. He knew I was an ordained minister, so he actually asked me to give her eulogy. So yeah, and I felt honored to do so. I felt honored to be asked, and honored because. So yeah, we flew out there to spend a little bit of time with Jeff, and went to the public funeral in Post Falls, Idaho, for all 4 of the victims, and then that was on a Friday, and then the next day was the private funeral in Post Falls for Xana, and so yeah, and again, you know, everybody in that community, whether they knew Xana or not, were reeling from that tragic event, because it really, I mean, Moscow hadn't had a murder
7 years prior or something, right?
Yeah, 7 years, and then that was, you know, cut and dry. It was just some guy who went nuts. And trying to remember the details of that, but anyway, yeah, it's not like that. You know, this isn't something you would have ever thought could happen, and then it does, and yeah, it was reeling.
Yeah, that's wild. Somebody said that her mom didn't show up to her funeral. Is that what I'm reading in chat?
Well, yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah. I was reading it. I'm like, just hearing it again is just.
Well, and some people say, oh, that's because she was incarcerated. No, she had been released and had the opportunity to be there.
Man, that's just. I got no words for that.
But
zero words.
Well, and you know, I really hope that that she gets the help that she needs. You know, maybe some of this will bring her to her rock bottom, and she could, you know, finally start working past that addiction that has.
So, I mean, let's get her. She didn't show up to her funeral, but yes, she could show up on News Nation.
Right. Yeah. And that, imagine me sitting there listening to that interview, knowing that she didn't even show up to Xana's funeral.
So did they pay her or something? I mean, I don't like you show up to News Nation, but you won't show up to. That's crazy to me, and that boggles my heart. But yeah, wow, that's crazy to me. I can't believe that. I'm baffled. I'm baffled by that, Todd. I don't know. I'm glad what you're doing in her memory. I'll tell you that much. What you're doing in her memory, or you guys, because I'm sure you all. Do you work at the gym, Sydney?
Mm-hmm. I run our girls team.
Yeah.
You run your oh wow, she runs a girls team, and
yeah. Wow. Our gym wouldn't function without this one. She's
at such a young age. You run the girls team, like that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, like, are you guys competing? What's going on? Like, you guys, who do you compete against?
I mean, any gyms. Like he was kind of telling you before we started the live, we travel Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. Mm-hmm. We go to a competition. It's called Gasparilla Classic. It's the largest gymnastics competition in the world. So there's people from other countries. There's people that come from basically every state in the U.S., all over the place. So it's always different kids that we compete against, but we compete against it.
So after we heard about this tragedy and had a little bit of time to put some thought to it, mm-hmm. We put it out to our parents. They were wondering why Todd and Tammy and Sydney aren't being very effective coaches one night and are basically just bawling their heads off. I mean, it was tough. I mean, I think Sydney related it best. She sat there thinking about her friendship with Xana and watching kids that she now coaches in the gym and seeing how they interacted with each other. It reminded her, every few minutes was another reminder of her and Xana all and that went on for weeks, but especially that first night. So no, we actually, had to tell our parents, no, we just suffered this loss. And of course it was all over the news. And so, and so our parents said, hey, let's dedicate our season in Xana's memory.
And this is you guys, right? As kids?
Yeah. That's my basement. That was Sydney's bedroom in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, when we lived there. But yeah, that's Xana and Sydney.
I want to. I got a lot of the pictures that you sent me. I want to bring some of them up and show everybody what you sent, because you did speak on a couple things during this live that I do want to talk about. Where's it at? You were talking about the one coach, I think, that did Xana's hair, right? Was this the picture? Was this the picture of her? Let me go back, find it. I think this one's it. This one right here.
Yeah, that's Amy and Xana, and and so Angel Girl sees this picture and then talks about how Jeff wasn't there on the weekend, so she's doing her hair. She never did her hair, but
this
anyway.
We cheered, or we had gym and cheer at our gym, but this was at the Globetrotters game.
Oh,
we did the halftime performance at a Globetrotters
game.
Yeah,
Harlem Globetrotters game. We did a half. So.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, this picture right here, do you tell us about this picture too? I think, and I appreciate you sharing these with me, Todd. Thank you so much for sharing these with me, and also, giving me insight on who Xana really is, because, like I said, that Angel Girl situation was horrible, but it did bring something good. We were able to put Journey on a journey, and it brought me and you together to talk, and I appreciate that. And like I said, thank you for sending me the videos you sent me and these pictures. And that's why I said I want to go over them. And this picture right here, can you give us a breakdown where this was at, what was going on?
I think, I could be wrong, but I think this was state the first year she moved up to level 6, because this was for sure our level 6 team. And I think it was at the state competition.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's our level 6 team for sure. And you see, yeah, and again, I mean, that picture is not staged. That's how those kids were. They were so close and so loving to each other, and that was all because of Xana. There was no rivalry. There was just none. Um,
We're talking about her socks. Her socks say "Party Girl" on them.
Coach
But
Todd.
that's what those socks say, "Party Girl."
Oh, that was that's Xana's socks. I thought that was somebody.
her socks. Nope.
They say party girl. Oh, the Eagle
girl.
socks, party girl.
That was her.
She loved having fun, huh? Was she tall?
No, like my height. Some of the photos I think we're standing up. I'm 5'5", so probably around that.
Yeah, probably around that same thing.
Wow.
But yeah, so our current team decided to dedicate their season last year in Xana's memory, and so we made up zipper pulls. I think you showed them in that fundraiser that we did, where all of the kids on their jackets, we put a zipper pull on their jackets. It had our logo made into a X for Xana, and then at the end of the season, and I think you have one of those pictures too. We awarded, because again, Xana was so inspirational. Pulled that team together. We made an award in her name, the Xana Kernodle Inspirational Award, and we've awarded it to every kid. Well, we've only had one so far, but we awarded it to at the end of the season, to the kid who exemplified those similar qualities to the highest degree. So this is that on Silks? Is that you and?
No, it's on. She was hanging from the bar.
Oh, she was hanging from the bar.
Now, how can you tell people how hard that is to do?
It's pretty hard.
You got to have some strength right there.
Some trust. She's the one on top, holding the other girl.
Oh, is that one of the
It's Josie.
Barnetts?
Yeah, one of the two. They're twins, identical twins.
And then I have this one you sent too. I think that's you, Sydney, in the middle, right? And Xana to the right.
Mm-hmm. And
And
then one of our other coach's daughters, is on the left.
And this must have been, because I think Carson came on a little bit later. She wasn't in that first picture. So this must have been second year level 6 for Xana.
Yeah, might have been. It was
Something
at a
like that.
competition.
and everyone's thanking you for coming up, by the way. Everybody's thanking you and Sydney for coming up and talking to us. What did Jeff say? A bunch of people are sending in messages. Thank you, Todd and Sydney, for being here. Thank you, Only Brooklyn. She said that. Candy Rapper says, thanks, Todd, Sydney, for being here. We appreciate you. I think we all cried. Thanks for being here for the family. Salvatore says, T, Sydney, Todd, and the whole Rev Gang family. Love you all so much. There's so many messages coming in. Thanks for being on the show, Todd and Sydney. You are the real deal supporting Xana. From Electra. What is that? Heimdall said, Heimdall. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Thank you, T-REV, for getting Todd and Sydney on your show. It's really important these kind of messages get to the public. Prayers for you all. Thank you, Heim. I appreciate that. Jeff H says, Coach Todd, it sounds like you're a coach. It sounds like you're a coach for life kind of coach. God bless you.
Well, thank you, man. I love coaching. I love having a positive impact on kids. So
a lot of positive, even in, let's see, smiling with tears flowing. Thank you guys for coming on. There's so many really good chats coming in. Chat's flying right now. This feels right. We didn't personally know her, but we see her through your eyes. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you both. Arzana's voice. Let me pull up some more of these two, because there's a lot. You sent me a decent amount. Let's see. This picture here too. Where was this picture? Did I have it buried? There it is. It's another picture you sent. It's kind of blurry when I zoom in, but if you keep it like that, you can see.
Yeah, that's at another competition in Clarkston, Washington, I think.
Oh, at Work Brain 360 gymnastics and cheer. Yeah. Another good competition that we went to every year. And
That was the same. The level 6 team is probably that state photo. Must have been the same year.
Yeah, it sounds like that first year of her 6.
Man, this was another one. I had it in the video, but I don't know why it came out blurry. I think it's because it zoomed in, but I could see obviously Sydney and Xana are in this picture, far right, and Sydney, you're like leftish, middle almost, in the middle, far left, not all the way left. I know Sydney's the one.
Sydney's with the blue. light
Yeah.
blue, and then Xana's on the far right, and then the other two girls are one of our two sets of twins we had on that team, which was fun in itself. Josie and Mariah, they were really close to Xana as well.
The four of us were always together. We did like Instagram pages too.
In fact, that video of Xana doing the split jump over the hay bale, that was in the same area. That was in Post Falls by Josie and Mariah's house. So,
And then this picture you sent, this looks like at like a stadium or
Yeah,
something.
that was the same, the Globetrotters game. That's
Yeah. The Globetrot. So how was that experience?
It was fun. We had, like I said, at our gym, we had a cheer and a gym team. I did both. Xana only did gym, so we included both like cheer and gym girls. That's why I'm wearing a different uniform than she is.
it was kind of cool. You know, events like that would come to Spokane, and if you performed for them, all your kids got to go to them for free. So we did a halftime performance with both our gymnastics program and our cheerleading program. And Xana was a big part of the gymnastics portion of that.
This is all. These were all awesome.
And that's one of the other set of twins,
Amy and Abby.
Amy and Abby. So I always joked. I said, I'm going to teach one of you to be really good on floor and vault, and the other one to be really good on beam and bars, and then you guys could compete for each other.
So that picture that you know that, all right, so Angel Girl shared that one, and she goes, you know, Xana, what did she say? She goes, and it was this picture right here. It was this picture, Todd. I remember I remember verbatim, she goes, yeah, she got called for big ears or this, that, the third. Remember that? She shared it in that video? Something about the big ears or something?
Yeah, and she totally made that up. I never heard that before, but yeah. No,
Totally made it up.
I tell you, I mean, she found a social media post or news stories and just embellished the details. Because yeah, I could see where she, you know, like the whole thing with being able to float from Spokane to Coeur d'Alene on the river, you know, and then that TikTok video of Xana, I think she was sucking down a beer bong while she was floating on a, you know, who knows? It doesn't say where she was, but anyway, so she, you know, she filled in the details. You know, she didn't need them. So anyway.
Someone asked if her sister did gym. She never did gymnastics.
Nope.
She played soccer.
Jasmine was into soccer and volleyball, and then later pulled Xana to do volleyball as well at high school. They were both really good athletes. But yeah, no, Jasmine's passion was soccer and volleyball.
Was Xana very competitive?
She wasn't like, I wouldn't say she had a competitive attitude, but she was so good that she always won. But it wasn't like make or break for her if she won or not.
She loved gymnastics, but she never not competitive to the point where she tried to challenge other people. That wasn't her. But yeah, she loved gymnastics. So from that standpoint, she was competitive because she was driven and she was super talented. But yeah, she never, you know, she wouldn't, you know, she wasn't trying to outdo other people. She was just trying to be the best she could be.
Yeah, a lot of people are showing love in chat, man. That's awesome. And I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad you both were able to come up here today and not only confirm that story was false, but share other memories with us. That was really the whole point for me, is to hear more about Xana. Did Xana continue in college with gymnastics? Someone said, is that what Hollis said?
No, when she got into high school and we had sold our gym because my in-laws, my mother and father-in-law their health started ailing. So that's when we decided to start selling off stuff and move to Florida so we could help them, be closer to them. But when we left the gym, she stuck with the new owners for about another year. And then she left off gymnastics and started focusing on volleyball. And what else did she do in high school?
I want to say basketball, but I think she did soccer like Jasmine.
Yeah, I think she played soccer and volleyball in high school.
Soccer and volleyball.
Yeah.
Volleyball is fun. Soccer's cool too. In high school, what, like competitive?
Oh,
soccer?
yeah.
School.
Yeah, she was really good at volleyball for sure.
Yeah. That's awesome. Volleyball's I like volleyball. I personally like playing it for fun, but competitive though, I've never played competitive volleyball.
That's what
How good was she at that? She must have been really good to be on the team.
Say that again.
She must have been like really good to play on the team.
To volleyball. Yeah, well, I
Heck
always
yeah.
tell parents when they come into the gym, especially dads who are like, oh, I don't know if I want my son to do gymnastics. I'm like, if you want him to be good at football, get him in gymnastics right now, because gymnastics teaches people their bodies,
Mm-hmm.
and then other sports will come easy after a base in gymnastics. So yeah, when Xana went on to play volleyball, the strength and conditioning and everything from gymnastics, she carried that right to volleyball, and I'm sure her coaches were super happy that she had that background.
Girl had some energy. Thank you, Todd and Sydney, for being here. Thanks, T-REV, for bringing them on. When Todd and Sydney talk, that's what the truth sounds like. That's a fact. I agree with you, Mark. People try to stretch stuff out, and it's wild. But Todd, like I said, Todd reached out to me. If I didn't see sometimes I don't, or actually a lot of times I don't see Twitter messages. So something led me to that message. I say things happen for a reason, and I think that happened for a reason. Because usually that's one of the things I miss the most is Twitter messages, and that's where Todd had hit me up at, or that I only seen anyways. So I'm glad that I decided to go through my Twitter messages. Impressive. I love volleyball. If you see any questions in there you would like to answer before we wrap it up, I mean, I love watching kids. I don't know if I see any. Happy you guys were there for Xana. You both seem very lovely. Thanks for trusting T-REV. Thank you, haters gonna hate. I appreciate you. I'm so sick.
Thank you all. I appreciate the positive messages. Yeah, we loved Xana. Absolutely loved Xana. You know, again, Jeff was a single dad raising a couple kids on his own. And so, yeah, Xana after practices would a lot of times end up over at our house, and then Jeff would come over to pick her up, and I'd make him stick around for a beer and sometimes a burger. And yeah, they were just super good people. And yeah, and Xana, I'm telling you, you know, the stuff you see people saying positively about her on the news and social media and stuff, you know, the stuff where they say, oh, if you knew Xana for just a short time, you loved her. That stuff is absolutely true, because Xana was so outgoing. She'd never met a stranger, and she just drew you in. And I'm telling you, I've said it so many times, but it's true. If you knew her for 5 minutes, you were already falling in love with her, because she would make you smile, make you laugh, and be real with you. And so, yeah, it's pretty easy to come on and speak about her, because she was really that special of a person. And, you know, another thing about, you know, I know a lot of people were frustrated that Jeff doesn't come out and talk more, and Jeff doesn't come out. But it's just, you know, in some respects, Jeff and Xana were polar opposites. Xana is the life of the party. Jeff is the guy that enjoyed the party, but he was standing against the wall watching other people, and that's where he derived his enjoyment from. He's just not the outgoing person. And it's, again, I don't know if I said this already, but it's why my wife isn't sitting in between us. Some people don't mind putting themselves out there. Some people just struggle with that, just can't. And my wife loved Xana as much as we do, and has this, but it's just not her personality. And that's like Jeff. It's just not Jeff's personality. He's not going to be like Kaylee's dad.
Right.
It's just, you know, but yeah, he appreciates all the support that he's gotten through all this. And he has his close circle of friends that are talking to him regularly to make sure that he's doing okay. And I would say that from my conversations with him, that he's doing like Jasmine, not unlike Jasmine, as best as you could expect under the circumstances. I mean, it's difficult, but anyway, but yeah, don't be frustrated because you're not hearing more from Jeff. It's just, it's his person. And I know you and I, T-REV, have already talked about this.
Yeah, but it's good to put that out to everybody, because some people just like, why isn't he talking, or this, that, and the third. And it's like, man, people grieve the way that they grieve. And right. You know, you can let people know, like you just did. You let.
And I'm more like Steve. I mean, I'd be in that courtroom. I'd be screaming and hollering, and and so I get it. I get, because that's my type of personality. I enjoy being the center of the party. But not everybody's wired the same way. And Jeff is it's just not his personality. But he absolutely loved everything about his daughter, and this thing was devastating to him. And he has. I mean, he spoke at both her public and her private funeral, and shared how much he, learned from his daughter, and how she helped him grow and become a better dad, and so. But yeah, he's a private person, and before this and after this, he's just not the kind of person that can put himself out there like some of us can. Yeah. You'll never have competition in your show with Jeff. So.
And like I said, when I talk to you about that, I can't imagine what he's going through, and everybody wants their own privacy in some way, or not everybody, but some people want their own privacy. They're not screaming from the mountaintops. And maybe he just, like you told me when we talked, he just wants it to be over because it's something that's breaking his heart.
Yeah, he wants to live in the memory of Xana. He doesn't want to think about Brian. He just wants this thing to be over so he can remember. And I know you had shared in your show on Xana's birthday that if he needed help getting to any of the court stuff or any of that kind of stuff, and you offered that to me as well. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate it. I want to say thank you for that. But yes, he's not missing that stuff because he can't afford to be there. He doesn't want to be there. He wants to live in the memories of his daughter. He doesn't want to be. I don't think he, So anyway, and I know when you offered me that too, I appreciate that so much. But when I travel, it's going to be to go spend time with Jeff. In fact, we're planning a trip to Arizona this upcoming year to watch the Seahawks murder the Cardinals.
Oh man, that's gonna be a good time, you guys.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna go spend a week or so with Jeff and my son and I and anyway, and that's the traveling.
That's celebrating a good memory, and no doubt, that's gonna be a good time. But the Cardinals might win. Not this time.
Hey, watch your mouth.
Oh man, like I said, I appreciate having both of you up. Sydney, is there anything that you want to say at all?
I don't think so.
It's okay. I know you don't have to. I was just asking because maybe you did have something you wanted to say. I didn't want to leave you out or make you feel like, But yeah,
she's somewhere in between Mom and me when it comes to being out there.
Yeah, no doubt. I understand it. I appreciate her actually coming up and you coming up. I want to thank you both and your family and for what you're doing in her memory. I think that's awesome. And the fact that you guys are doing what you're doing in her memory and just helping kids in general.
Right. Well, thank you.
Something positive. It's positive, and you guys are in the community, and I commend what Sydney's doing, which is teaching a lot of little girls and stuff how to do gymnastics. I think that's awesome because my niece is in gymnastics, and it's positive. It's not nothing negative. It's something positive, and I commend you guys for that. What you're doing in her memory, and I want to show this one picture if I can find it, which was. Do you want to tell everybody about the reward that was given out?
Reward that was.
Or was it a reward? It was in Xana's memory, but it was.
Oh. So yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit today about how Xana pulled her team together like I've never coached before or since, and so we created an award in conjunction with dedicating our season last year to Xana. That it's called the Xana Kernodle Inspirational Award, and I think you have a picture of it, and it's going to hang in our gym. And this is the first winner of it. This young lady right here, Brooklyn. She is the first recipient of that award. She is a really talented gymnast, and she too, like Xana, has always got a big smile on her face, and is always encouraging to her teammates. And then, sometimes gymnastics is scary. We're asking kids to go upside down on a 4-inch beam, And so sometimes, but this young lady would never let the fear stop her. That doesn't mean she wasn't ever fearful, but she would always work hard to overcome her fears. So Brooklyn Bauer was the first person awarded the Xana Kernodle Most Inspirational Award after the season that ended this. When did our season end? In May. So, and we'll be giving out another one next year. So,
right. Yeah, that's awesome. So somebody will get one every year. Is that how you plan on doing it? Or?
Yeah. So this plaque will hang in the gym, and right now I think you have another picture that shows her name inserted as the first recipient. And then every year we'll add another name to that plaque, and then eventually we'll have to get another plaque to go under it to keep adding names.
Right here, and it has her picture in there too.
Yeah, that was actually the picture from Xana's personal memorial service or private.
This is awesome.
So
I think this is awesome. 2022, 2023, and she got that. Now, how do you? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but how do you pick who gets it?
Well, again, Brooklyn was the hardest working, most encouraging to her teammates. That we all the coaches came up with the same name. It was pretty easy this year. I'm sure some years it'll be more difficult, but yeah, she works hard. She works through challenges, and she always is encouraging to her teammates. And so she was the closest example we had this year to the way that Xana conducted herself in the gym. So she was the first winner this year. And then if you want to show that picture of Journey again, Journey, who is very deserving, is going to be the first Xana Kernodle Gymnastics Scholarship Award winner for this next season. And that's all thanks to you guys. We did not have the funds available for that until you guys donated all those funds last week.
And that's so awesome, man. I can't believe that everybody had came together like they did on that video that we put together, which we don't want to talk about that no more. But I mean, the fact that's the positive that came from it. And this is Journey in the video that you took of her. And I kind of got to repeat and so people can see her, but this is it. I don't think I had the picture on this computer. That's why I'm just playing the video. But
no, that's fine. And again, I know I mentioned it earlier, but when I called and told her mom that she would be awarded this, she was so appreciative. She broke down. Because she's really struggled to keep her daughter in gymnastics. She cleans our gym top to bottom every single week, and then now she's going to be able to, thanks to your guys' donations, going to be able to afford to go watch her daughter compete this upcoming season. And that girl right there is a very talented young lady. She's going to do really well this year.
So Journey, when did she come in? When did she first start?
I think she's been with us for about 2 years now.
2 or 3.
So
she's been begging to compete.
She's been wanting to compete. Yeah, and mom just hasn't been able to afford it. And so yeah, she in this video she says, "Thank you, T-REV, or is it T-REV gang?"
Yeah, thank you, T-REV gang.
I'm so excited.
Of them trying to get her to say it.
Jesus, it was so awesome. It teared me up when I seen it. When you sent it to me, I told you, I was like, man, that teared me up. And then I shared it. I was like, look what we done. And this is, I mean, it's awesome to, like I said, make a young lady's dream. Or she wanted to compete. She wanted to do these things, and now she's able to do that. And my heart is with her family, and I'm glad that. And I know Xana is looking down and smiling on something like this. Honestly, and that's, I don't know, it touches me.
Well, and I just saw,
man.
And I just saw somebody in your chat say, Flutter Tone, we need to raise funds for her to go again next year. So we're going to keep that GoFundMe going, and would appreciate any support. And we're going to try to just continue to raise funds to make sure she stays doing what she needs to be doing. And then if those funds grow beyond that, then we'll figure out another way to help, other families.
And I got it actually in my chat too. So every time I'm live, anybody who wants to donate to it, all you got to do is hit ! Xana, and it will pop up and lead you straight to the GoFundMe that Todd has up for Xana Kernodle. So if you want to, if you're ever in any of my lives, and this goes for anyone in chat, just hit ! Lowercase, all lowercase Xana, and it will take you straight. It'll bring the website. You just click it from chat, and it'll take you straight there, and you'll be able to do that. So anybody who does that, I really appreciate you, and everybody who has done that, I really appreciate you. I see a lot of your comments that are on there, and I do want to, like I said, send a special thank you out to the Rev Game family for actually, helping put Journey on her journey. This is what we do it for, to be a voice for the voiceless and help in any situation that we possibly can. And that takes off from besides all the dark stuff that we hear every day and that we discuss on this channel. We do something positive. I think it's important to do that, and we're going to continue to do that. And I want to send a special thank you to every single person live here right now, or if you're watching this later. Thank you all for helping and donating and doing something in such a beautiful light, like sending young Journey here to compete in gymnastics. It's just, I don't know. I get chipped up on my words when talking about this, but thank you, Todd, for even making that possible.
Well, and I echo that sentiment. Thank you all for making this possible. This young lady deserves to compete. She works super hard, and it's not her fault that her mom has challenges. A single mom raising several kids, much like Jeff, single dad raising, his young kids. And so, yeah, thank you for making it possible, and it won't go unappreciated. And like I said earlier, I'll say it again, our season's going to start either very late December or early January. You guys will be kept up to date. We will be sending, I'm so excited to be part of the T-REV gang now. So,
and shout out to Sydney too, because you probably coach her, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I do.
Oh yeah.
So Sydney coaches her, and that's shout out to Sydney too for the hard work that she does with these young ladies, because it could be challenging.
But we will send you regular updates. You will know about how she's doing. We'll send you scores, maybe some short videos of her competing, and so.
Todd and Sydney, I don't think you could have brought your story to a more compassionate channel. T has a full heart, and only Xana's best interest in it. Thank you again for coming on today. All right, shout out to you, Obsessed. I appreciate the beautiful words, as well as everybody in chat. Todd, Sydney, thank you for coming up, and I'll keep in touch with you very close. Shout out to you, brother, and Sydney, thank you. I hope you guys have a blessed day, and like I said, I'll keep in touch.
All right. Thanks, brother.
God bless. Have a beautiful day. Well, shout out to them. I appreciate them coming up. That was beautiful. Man, so much to digest. So much to digest on that. But it was so beautiful of Sydney and Todd to come up and speak in Xana's memory. But not only that, set the record straight on some stuff and dive into some questions. I don't know. I kind of got lost in what to ask, because there's just so much. There's just so much surrounding it. And me and Todd have talked off the air. Thank you guys, and I'll see you. I don't know. Maybe I'll see you later, because we still got to watch the other Dateline. So if you want to watch the other Dateline, make sure you tune in, and I'll be checking you guys out later. Love you all. I'm out. 1 second.
I count my blessings for the days when I was down and losing faith. They made me patient. All I can say is thank you. I really wouldn't be the same if I ain't gone through all the pain. Look what it made me. All I can say is
forward to doing these lives. A lot of y'all really came and opened up my eyes, and I hope I gave it back because it came with yours. No matter what they say, I know I opened up them doors. I brought a family together even though shit was rough. They tried to shut us down, but we really shut them up. No matter what, we stand together when shit gets tough. I wanna thank everyone for showing me love. The Rev Gang family is something I cherish and love, and I'll smack anyone for fucking with us.
Blessings for the days when I was down and losing faith. They made me patient. All I can say is thank you. I really wouldn't be the same if I ain't gone through all the pain. Look what it made me. All I can say is thank you.
No one making a voice to the voiceless. People get killed for other stupid choices. Standing up for the families that took a loss is something that we find important. Rap game strong, chest up. Little homie, keep your head up. You can be whatever you want. Get rid of the fake and it will add up. All my life I strive for greatness. I manifested my time with patience. People try to copy us, but respect is earned. It's not an obligation. I love the fam and they love me back, and that's why I always have the backs. I give a voice to those people who were never given a chance for them slimy cats. When you come here, you ain't a number to me. I really take time to read what I see. Don't forget to lock your doors, cause there's danger all up in these streets. Y'all really put life into the air that I breathe. I really am thankful for all of my peeps. Your loyalty means a lot to me, so this is a special thank you from me.